Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming to the stream. We'll get started in about, 15 minutes? So if you have any questions to ask related to the lesson or just about anything, Korea or Korean, now's the time to ask. My stand is not working. Paper keeps falling off. Maybe I need a new stand. This one is from, I think, the 4th grade. When I was in the 4th grade in elementary school, I got this music stand. And yeah, I didn't get it. My mom got it for me. The legs fell off, but I taped them back on. And I use it to hold both my tablet for viewing comments, but I also use it for holding the lesson paper. And I think it doesn't want to hold the lesson paper so well. But I refuse to upgrade it. Let's see, who's here? The first green member I noticed is Lexica. Welcome, Lexica. As well as Paulina Carolina. 안녕하세요. Aniki as well, and Carl. Yinsing says, those music stands are the worst. Yeah, it's pretty terrible, but I don't know. Is there a better way to hold my paper? I refuse to believe there is. Traga and Hopegate, welcome. Did I play any instruments? Yes. Try to guess what instrument I used to play in elementary school and junior high school. I don't have it anymore. I gave it to someone. I don't even know who I gave it to. I think my mom just said, can I give it to someone? And it's gone. Yeah, I don't have it anymore. But see if anyone can guess what instrument I used to play. I'll give you a hint. It was not a Korean instrument. I didn't even know what Korea was when I was in elementary school. I'll tell you the answer right before we start the live stream today. Right before the class starts, I'll let you know what it was. But you can guess in the meantime what I used to play. Let's see, you got some guesses. Trumpet, clarinet, trumpet, violin. Continue guessing. I'm not going to say if anyone got it or not. Guitar. Okay, I will say it was not the guitar. I tried learning guitar in college, actually. So I have a guitar. And I learned how to play it for like just a few months and then never touched it again. So you might find a video of me playing guitar. At least I put a video of me playing guitar in one of my videos on my channel. There is a video of me in there I'm playing guitar. But other than that, I didn't play guitar when I was in elementary school, and I no longer play guitar. Piano. I kind of have to say yes for piano. This isn't the real answer though, but like kind of everyone plays the piano as a kid, so this doesn't really count. And I didn't really play it. I could do chopsticks. Like my kid can do chopsticks, so it's not really that big of a deal. Zandria Waters. Oh, hey, Zandria Waters. Zandria, today's stream is thanks to Zandria. Hold on, let me write that 5 a little bit clearer. There we go. Zandria, you guess saxophone. Saxophone. I'll just say, I won't say if you're right or not. I'll just say one of my best friends going to school, she played the, she played the saxophone. I didn't really get to hear very much, but yeah, definitely a cool instrument. Hard to play. Very hard to play. I'm making several board games to practice Korean, says Zandria. Are trivia questions often asked in the plain form? I've never watched a game show in my life except for, I guess, Golden Bell. I think I've seen Golden Bell. Golden Bell is a Korean game show. Maybe I'd recommend watching that, but that's literally the only game show I know of. I'm not sure how they phrase their questions in a game in those game shows on television. If people just ask questions in general, they would just ask them normally, like regular questions, but I guess it depends how the question is. A game show, I'm not sure. Like questions normally on TV, they're just asked regular, but a game show could do it with the plain form. I don't know. I would say watch Golden Bell. That's the only one I know of, but I don't think I've seen it before. Watch an episode of that and then report back. Let me know how they asked those questions on the show. I would guess though, it's going to be plain form. No, because, well, the thing is, like, if you take a test questions are asked with honorifics as a command. They would say, guess what, guess who, guess when, you know, this person did this or who did this. That's how they phrase test questions. They don't say who did this like that on a test question. So I would assume quiz shows would do the same thing, but I haven't watched any. So when someone guessed the lyre or lyre, I don't know how you pronounce it. That like medieval instrument kind of? Isn't that like the kind of like the big guitar thing? Lyre or lyre? I don't know how you pronounce it. That thing. The French horn. French horn sounds cool, doesn't it? Aniki asks a related question. How was the TXT only week? So for those of you who don't know, I am doing a video right now about TXT. And because there are so many members and because I'd like to keep doing this series eventually, I decided I'll make it into one video instead of breaking it up into 5 videos, one for each member. When I did the BTS series, I had 7 videos, one for each member. And this, doing it as one video doesn't save me any time. It still takes the same amount of time to film and edit. This is going on now on my 2nd week. It's going to be 2.5 to 3 weeks total of work once this is all finished. And yeah, so it's going to be one video. I'm in the process of editing it right now. So I'm not done. I still have a lot more work to do. I'm still doing research, but I'm about a little more than halfway done with it. And the video is already after like going beyond 40 minutes. So I think we're looking at a video that's going to be close to an hour and a half long, all about TXT. We'll see though. I still have some more work to do. But yeah, literally the only thing I was doing for the past, I don't know, 2 weeks, I guess, every day. Yeah, 2 weeks was just watching TXT videos and taking notes. And that's it. And then writing. And then I watch clips. I'm like, oh, this person says this. And then watch the more clips and then realize, oh no, that's not, they don't really say it that much. And, you know, remove it and go back. And yeah, it's been a lot of work. Brand1 asks, who's your favorite? That's a secret. You'll see that in the video, as well as my favorite song. All of that stuff will be in the video coming up soon. Aniki, block float? What is that? Is that an instrument? Block float. Okay, that's what we call a recorder? Is that what we call a recorder? Yeah, so in English, we just call that a recorder. Recorder. I didn't have a recorder as a kid. In Korea, playing the recorder is a really common thing. That's like music class 101. Everyone in Korea learns how to play the recorder. So you can actually buy a plastic recorder at the dollar store, any dollar store or stationery store in Korea. You will sell them. They're very cheap because they're such a common item that every kid gets for school at one point. I couldn't play it. If I played the recorder, it would sound something like those parody videos on YouTube of people playing famous themes with the recorder, like Jurassic Park or Titanic. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go search that. Titanic recorder or Jurassic Park recorder. This music, now it's collapsing. My music stand is just collapsing. It's not staying at the same height. Come on. Why are you breaking in 2 ways the same day? Just one is enough. It's not staying. Darn it. Okay, there we go. Yeah. That's like a wooden flute. Well, I think we would just call it a wooden recorder in that sort of style. Like when you play it straight from the top and it's just a long tube, anything that looks like that, we just call it a recorder. Obviously not everything. I know the bassoon looks like that, but the bassoon is not called a recorder. But you know what I'm talking about. Anything that looks like a recorder. If it looks like a recorder and sounds like a recorder, well, then we call it a recorder. No matter if it's a block float or something else. A wooden flute, I guess. Zandria says, I'm watching this while at Oktoberfest. What is Oktoberfest? Is that just like... I don't even know what that is. I've heard it before. Natalie says, is that a hint? Not an air instrument? It was not a hint. I didn't think I was trying to give a hint. Okay, another couple minutes and then I'll tell you what instrument I used to play in elementary school. How's everyone doing today? You all ready to learn Korean? You ready to learn some Korean? Today you're going to learn some Korean with Uncle Billy. Woohoo! Uncle Billy gonna teach you good. I don't have any family members who talk like that. I imagine though if I lived like out on a farm somewhere, I don't know. I'd still dress like this, but maybe that's how I would talk. Katana thinks I played the triangle. I guess it's an instrument technically, but then again, I mean, mayonnaise is also an instrument if you like hit it. I wouldn't say I played an instrument if I played the triangle. No offense if you play the triangle. It's a percussion instrument, right? You still have to keep the melody, but it's like, is it hard to play? Educate me if I'm wrong. I figure you just match the melody to what you're playing. Same with like the cowbell. You just kind of do this. Is it an instrument? Yes, I guess technically. Does it take skill to play? I don't know. I would guess not very much. Just like the introduction to safety dance. Do you need to be a skilled pianist to play? Yeah, I don't think so. I played an instrument that took skill, which is why I don't play it anymore, because I had none. Xylophone. The xylophone, yes, that was the instrument I had. No. Accordion, no. The only kid who played the accordion was Weird Al, I believe. He's the only one who was allowed by the government's yearly quota of accordion players. He was selected, and every other kid was denied the opportunity. So I could not have played the accordion even if I wanted to, because Weird Al was already doing it. No. So, of course, the instrument that I played, obviously, was the clarinet. So I was a clarinet player all throughout elementary school. I'd say from 5th grade, 6th grade, and then both years of junior high school. So about 4 years, I did small performances in my school. And one performance, so I wasn't very good, but I could play. Like, I was, as a kid, acceptable, they say. They put me in the performances, although they wouldn't give me the main parts. I was one of the background players. And one performance I went to, I arrived late. I don't remember why. I just remember running into the room, the performance area, sitting down, and like they're already playing. And during the performance, I'm like quickly assembling my clarinet, putting the reed in, and then I try to play, and I realize as soon as I blow that the reed is dry. And if anyone who knows how to play, so like this applies to saxophone, bassoon, even more so. So clarinet, you have to get your reed, YouTube, don't censor me, your reed wet, and you put it in your mouth. You put it like under your tongue, and you get it wet. I don't know if that's still how they do that. That's how they did it when I was a kid. So you put it in your mouth to get it wet, and then you can play it, because if it's too hard, it won't vibrate very well. So you get your reed wet, See, I was trying to say it the other way. And so mine was completely dry. So I'm like quickly trying to get my reed wet, like while the performance is going on. And I try to play and it still doesn't come out. It's still not ready. So I played like some really horrible notes that sounded like something Squidward would play from SpongeBob. And the audience, some of the audience members, my parents and whatever, they're laughing. I didn't care at that point. I'm like, okay, this is done. I'm just going to do my best. So keep trying to play. I don't remember what we were even trying to play. Kept trying to play, wouldn't come out. I'm like, whatever, just keep playing. Took it back out, put it on my mouth. Okay, another 30 seconds later, put it back in, played like the last couple notes horribly, and then the piece ended. You know, people were applauding and laughing. I think the teacher was laughing. Yeah, it was a good memory though. It was a core memory that scarred me. And after that, I never played the clarinet again. It's really gross. You have to carry a spit rag. That's right. I had a spit rag. So yeah, this is things you don't want to know about your favorite instruments is that wind instruments smell because you brush your teeth, you take good care, you have good oral hygiene. I did, even as a kid, but it doesn't matter because your breath smells from what you ate, even if your like mouth is clean and you breathe air through the instruments to produce sound, and that the air, you know, the smelly air stays in there. So you have to clean it. Obviously, you should clean it or else it's going to smell. It's just gross. So you have like a rag, you have to like pull through the instrument and like clean. So I remember I used to do that. And then, you know, you'd wash the rag and do it again. Yeah, it was a labor of love and I hated it. Isn't the saxophone a kind of clarinet? Yeah, it's like a bent clarinet that, but it has a stronger sound. I feel like I tried to play it once. It was really hard. I could barely get a sound out and you had to like blow even harder because it has I think it had a much thicker reed on it than the clarinet. Yeah, more emotionally scarring core memories. I don't think I want to talk about this anymore. Yeah. So sorry. How do we get so off track? It's 2:00 already. I'm sorry. You're all here to learn Korean. All 115 of you. Now 108. Quick reminder of Patreon and member benefits. If you're one of my Patreon members and YouTube members, you get to suggest topics. So this topic that we're doing, actually 3 live streams about time words were all suggested from members. One member came up to me and said, Billy, can you teach me words related to time like this and this and this? I'm like, okay. And it turned out to become 3 separate live streams. And now this is the 3rd one. We can finally cover some of those time words that are related to frequency, like saying often. And yeah, if there's something that you want to suggest, you get to do that being a member, either on Patreon or on YouTube. Also, you get to support me because I live off of your donations and support. So it's thanks to the viewers right now who are watching, all of you out there watching, that I'm able to do this. If I didn't have this YouTube channel, if I didn't have Patreon and all of this stuff going on, I would not be teaching Korean right now. I would be playing the clarinet somewhere. I'm certain of it. Also, a reminder that I have an active Discord channel. I'll put a link. Discord. There we go. Put a link in the chat there. Join it. Say hi. You can ask questions there whenever you have Korean questions you're concerned about. And also, really quick announcement for the schedule. I'm going to be going to Korea next month. So next month, there won't be any live streams. So that's really all you need to know. That means that next Sunday will be the last live stream before we take a break, because that's the last Sunday of October, followed by which I'll be gone for November, and then we'll start up again in December. Probably the very first Sunday in December, I'll try to start back again. So you won't have to wait too long. You can use that month to prepare for Thanksgiving. And if you do that, you can make lots of food. And then as soon as Thanksgiving's over, you can join me back for December. And I think that's it. Yeah. So previously we've covered a lot of time words already. I'm just going to read off them really quick. 어제, 오늘, 그저께, 내일, 모레, 아직, 이미, 벌써, 곧, 바로, 곧바로, 넘게. These are from the first one. Then the last time we did this live stream about time words, we covered 지금, 이제, 나중에, 이따가, 아까, 방금, 동안, 오래, 오래되다, 오랫동안, 오랜만에, 전에, 후에, 이전에, 이후에, 얼마, and 얼마나. If you didn't get that, don't worry. It's just if you're checking your notes and wondering, what did we already cover? Okay, so those are already covered. Today we've got a bunch of words related to time. Some of them are related to frequency of time, and others are just general words that you'll need to know when you're talking about the time. The prerequisites for this lesson are just that you know how to conjugate verbs. So that's really the prerequisite for every single lesson I ever do, unless it's a lesson about conjugating verbs. This is like the basic skeleton of Korean sentences, is knowing how to conjugate verbs at the end of your sentence. So past tense, present tense, future tense. If you're comfortable with that, you've got a skeleton going there. You have a skeleton sentence. It'll make sense. If you can conjugate verbs, you can make Korean sentences. So yeah, focus on this. If this is kind of rusty, this will get you a long ways in Korean. Let me check the chat real quick before I start teaching the first word here. Zandria says, Billy reviews V's sex. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I would have to review that, yeah. Zandria, yeah. So you guessed right, and I saw a couple of people guess clarinet immediately. Angels World TV says, it's going to be cold for you. Yes, it is going to be pretty cold. Though, if you go to Korea in November, I would say you'll be okay. November, just bring some long sleeve shirts, bring a hoodie, bring a coat, some gloves, and you're good. If you want to be really warm, you can bring like a hat, maybe something like this. You can bring like earmuffs if you're really sensitive to cold, if your ears get cold. My ears get really cold. My neck doesn't. My legs also don't. But, you know, just bring regular winter clothes. Nothing special. You're not going on a Mount Everest expedition. You don't have to worry about like freezing to death in November. It's pretty nice. In the daytime, in the beginning of November, it's going to be kind of warm. Nighttime, it's cool. And then as it gets to the end of November, it's kind of cold during the mornings and cool during the daytimes. It's completely tolerable during November. And even December. December gets quite cold, but it's not terrible. January and February is when you want to avoid. Don't touch Korean soil in January and February unless you are ready to hire a Sherpa and hike up Mount Everest. Like, you have to have been born in that sort of torturous weather in order to endure it. Or you could be from Canada. You'll probably be fine. But yeah, I don't recommend January, February, but any other month is fine. Oh yeah, and then for heat, I would say avoid July and August for the hottest weather. So July, August, and then January, February. Those two. Okay. Getting hand warmers at Daiso and feet warmers. Yeah, Daiso also sells earmuffs for $1, and they work really good. Like, they're totally fine. So I use those. All right, so we're going to be learning several words about time. The first word I wanted to teach you is a very common one that you are going to use often. And that is the adverb often, which is 자주. So specifically, this means often doing the same thing, or often the same thing happens. That's sort of often. And there's nothing you really need to know special about how to use it. I'll leave it up on the board for a second so you can write it down. And then I'm going to give you a sentence. Ekimini, can you make a compound sentence video? Yes, I have one coming up in my Korean FAQ series. You'll have to wait though. Let me check when it's going up. It'll be the end of December. I'm sorry. You'll have to wait. So I filmed it, though, forever ago. I think I filmed it back in August or September. I filmed it back in August, September. But because I already had other Korean FAQ videos ready to go, you'll have to wait until December to see it, but it'll be about sentence structure. If you're a member, though, and you want to see that, if you want to see like videos early and you're a member on my Patreon page, there's a tier on my Patreon that lets you watch videos early. It's at least 1 week early, but I don't advertise this. But if you message me and there's a video you already know that I have coming out and you want to see it early and you're in that tier, I'll probably send you the link. So if you want to see videos early, that's one way you can do it. But again, I'm not advertising that. Don't let that leave this stream. But that is something I've done before and I probably will keep doing. Paulina, hey, Paulina. Paulina. I always have to convert your currency. Oh, awesome. That's like $7. One of these days, I'm going to get good at converting it in my head. Oh, and I didn't give Xandria dabs. I'm going to give Xandria and Paulina dabs real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh. 7 for Paulina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So, let me give you a sentence. Actually, I want you to make this sentence. You know this was coming. You know I was going to ask you to make it. Okay. I meet Charsu often. I meet Charsu often. Now, meet is a verb. You're not going to say 고기 for meet. It's 만나다. 만나다. So I meet Charsu often. I want you to make this sentence. Don't worry if you're not 100% sure. Just give it a try. If you make a terrible sentence, I'll point it out and we'll laugh at you and then I'll help you fix it. No, I'm just joking. I wouldn't laugh at someone trying. At least not on stream. 철수를 자주 만나요. Nice. Oh yeah, I shouldn't read them out loud because I don't want to give it away to give one of the answers away. But Paulina, perfect. Traga, perfect. Aniki, perfect. Hopegate, perfect. Lexica, perfect. And everyone else, let's see real quick. Nice. Olami, I would check how you spell Charsu by checking out everyone else's. But yeah. Kendra asks, is it 제가 or 저는? It's either. Depends what you want to say. Check out my video about markers. I have like, I think 13 videos on my channel. I'm not joking. I have so many videos on my channel about topic marker and subject marker, or topic marker versus subject marker, or how to use all the markers, or specific uses for the topic mark. Yeah, check them out on my channel. It's actually, I think I even have a video here. Let's see. Do I have one? Markers. Here I go. Yeah. I got a video. I'll put it in the chat for the markers. Oh, I think it's 1, 2, 3. It's 3 videos. Links to 3 videos. So you can watch either of those or all of them. Yeah, it's actually both of them. Okay. So this one's simple. Let me give you an answer. 철수, our friend Charsu. 철수를 자주 만나요. So I meet 철수 often. Notice, adverbs in Korean are used immediately before the verb, or whatever the verb phrase is. So you wouldn't say 자주 철수를 만나요. You could, it makes sense, but it has a different intonation. It doesn't mean I often meet 철수. It means often I meet 철수. It sounds a little bit awkward. Keep the adverb directly before the verb and don't use it after the verb. Don't say 철수를 만나요 자주. That sounds like you forgot to say it in the sentence. That's like saying, oh, I meet 철수. Often. So use it before the verb so it doesn't sound weird. Next. This one has a few meanings. It actually has a lot of meanings, but we're going to focus on the main three. There are many more definitions for this word if you look in Korean, because this word in English, well, has so many uses in English. So if you look at the definition of 잘 in Korean, you'll see it has so many different meanings. But in English, we can just use this word. So it's really easy to translate it. It can mean well, or it can mean skillfully. Or, just like 자주, it can also mean frequently, as in often. So you can say 잘 만나요 or 자주 만나요, and they could both mean meeting someone well, as in meeting someone frequently. Depending on the context, though, you'll know which one it means. Actually, 잘 만나다 is used for like if people are dating, like if you're still meeting each other well, literally, you're still meeting each other well or frequently. So yeah. Adverb is add to the verb. That's right, Paulina. Okay. So, 잘 can mean any of these, but it does have more meanings. But again, these cover pretty much all of the main ones. So if you just learn it like this. So if you want to say someone's skilled at doing something, you can say they do it 잘. If you say they often do something, like they're frequently doing something, you can use 잘. Although if you want it to be clear that you mean often and that you don't possibly mean one of these, use 자주 instead. If you want to say someone does something well, as in they are well, 잘 있어요, as in without a problem, right? Are you doing well? That's like, are you doing okay? So no problems, sort of well. No difficulties. Okay. The sentence I want you to make is Young-hee cooks well. Young-hee cooks well. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 sentences for this lesson, so they do get a little harder though. These are just the basic words. So starting out with the most basic words and going down to the less common used ones. But they're all useful. All the ones that we're doing in this lesson are going to be useful. Except for one. The very last one is not useful, but we'll talk about that. Trega. I recommend, Trega, if you're speaking that sentence, it is perfect. If you're writing that sentence, I recommend adding in a marker. Yes. Aniki, same goes for Aniki as well. It is perfect. I would just add a marker. Paulina, small typo with her name. But other than that, the sentence is perfect. Deirdre, Diodra, 안녕하세요. That sentence is not this sentence, but it is still a perfect sentence. Hope Gate, perfect. Lexica, perfect. Now let me check some of the other sentences we have here. Actually, Paulina's has, I'll just say Paulina has the most perfect sentence. I'll just say that. Other than the small typo for the name, Paulina's sentence is 99.99% perfect. And I'll tell you why. Actually, I already told you, but I'll restate it. It was something I just said about adverbs. Okay. First of all, you'd want to use 는 instead of ka here. Now, 영희가 is fine to say 영희 cooks well. Like if someone says, who cooks well? You can say 영희 cooks well, like that. But if you don't have any context, 는 creates context. It introduces a topic. So if you don't have any context, use 는 to start your sentence. But if you have context, again, ka works fine. Just it has a different nuance because it assumes there already is some sort of context. So 영희는, so our friend 영희, 요리, cooking, 잘해요. 요리를 잘해요. Is good at cooking. Literally does well cooking. Note, 잘 is an adverb and it goes directly before the verb here, 하다, to do. So the verb 요리하다, to cook, is actually 요리, cooking, plus 하다, to do. So the verb is actually not 요리하다, the verb is 하다. So whenever you have that sort of verb where it's actually a combination of something, specifically a noun and the verb 하다, you're going to add an adverb before 하다 since it adds to the verb. It goes before the verb. So not 잘 요리해요, but 요리를 잘해요. 영희는 요리를 잘해요. So 영희 is good at cooking. 영희 cooks well. Okay, next word is actually two words. Next we have 방금 and 금방. Look, it's the same thing, just with the words switched around. Actually, this uses the same 한자. It's just a different order. So it's, yeah. But they have different meanings. Kind of, we'll talk about in a second. They kind of don't have a different meaning. They kind of do. So first, 방금 means just now. So you've just done something. Someone just went somewhere. Just now did something. 방금. You can think of this as meaning a moment ago from right now. As in someone just did something. So a moment ago from right now. However, 금방 means a moment later from right now. You can think of this as meaning like a moment, in a moment, or soon, as in a moment later. So we have a moment ago, just a moment ago, and now we have just a moment later. That's what these words mean. I'll leave this up for a second, then I have to say something else. Trega asks a question. I'll answer this really quick while we go on. There can be, but most of the time there isn't. So the spacing rule for 잘하다 is actually the most messed up spacing rule I've ever read in all of Korean. And I know a lot about spacing. That's the most messed up one. But to summarize all of that messed up stuff, the answer is if you're writing 잘하다, just write it as one word. Unless you only mean someone did something well, like without difficulty, that sort of well. Unless you mean that well, write it without a space, and that's like almost every single way it gets used. So just write it as 잘하다 as one word, and you'll be fine. The other thing to know about it is there are literally 0 Koreans on the entire planet that care if you mess up that spacing. So yeah, don't worry about it. But if you do worry about it, space them. If you really worry about it beyond that, you can send me a message and I can send you a video about it, but yeah. Okay. Deirdre, small typo for 청소. And yes, you would be correct. 영희, so you would just want to spell it 영희. 청소를 잘해요. Yes, that would be a example. Okay, so the thing you need to know though about this is that officially 금방 is listed as a synonym for 방금. Meaning, you can also use 금방 to mean that someone just did something. Just so you know, officially, because they are just the same characters written backward. But that's not how it gets used most of the time. So learn it this way, but know that you may sometimes see 금방 used with past tense, meaning that someone just did something, even though it's 금방 and not 방금. So these can be confusing because of that. You might see 금방 used with past tense and think, wait, didn't 금방 mean someone's doing something in a moment or soon? Yes, but it can also be used like this. So you might see it. It's not common. So I want you to make two sentences, but the first sentence I want you to make is, I just arrived. I just arrived. So someone's like, where are you? And you say, I just arrived. Of course, you're getting in your car, but you tell them, oh yeah, I just arrived. That's a really common thing that Koreans will say. I don't know if it's only a Korean thing, but someone says, where are you? And you say, oh, I'm parking. But they're just getting in their car. So if a Korean if they tell you where they are and they say they're parking, they're probably just getting in their car. I don't know, it's just a thing. Ask them why they do that. Or even before that would be 지금 가고 있어요. Like right now I'm going. That means I'm getting ready to leave. Or 왔어요. I'm here. Again, that's also they are still driving. Okay. Yes. Traga. Oh, Paulina was first again. Oh no. Aniki was first today. Perfect. Paulina. Perfect. Traga. Perfect. Lexica. Perfect. Hopegate. Perfect. Yeah, you could have used 오다 for to come. I just came here. But 도착하다 would be more like arrive, but they both have the same meaning. 방금 왔어요. Yeah, I just came here. Or I just arrived. Okay. I also checked the other people who aren't members. I also checked your sentences as well. Deirdre as well. 방금 찾았어요. I just found it. Okay. You want to say I just found something? 방금 찾았어요. And yeah, I also checked other people's sentences as well. I saw a couple typos. Someone wrote it as 방금, but it's 방. So it's with an iang, not with a nian here. But yeah, great job. I want these sentences to be simple because I want you to understand what you're doing when you're using this word. So I just arrived. 방금 도착했어요. So 도착하다 is to arrive. So I just arrived. So you're going to see 방금 used with the past tense. Next, I want you to make this sentence. The bus will come in a moment. As in, a moment later from right now. The bus will come in a moment. Kendra says, I always spell it 방은. Yeah, don't spell it that way, but it's typos are pretty normal. Don't let typos bother you too much. Just fix them. Okay. The bus will come in a moment. Let's see who's first. Traga is first for the members. 버스가 금방 올 거예요. Perfect. As well, Aniki, perfect. Paulina as well. The bus will arrive in soon. Okay, that's perfect as well. Perfect, I mean. Lexica, perfect. And Hopegate as well. Perfect. Okay, now let me check the other viewers here. Let's see. Kendra also. Kendra had the first sentence, who was not a member, but Kendra was first. 금방 올 거예요. Well, not with a question mark, but you are correct. Let me just read some of the other sentences real quick. Nice. Cubify, it's spelling for bus, but the rest of your sentence is nice. Nice, nice, awesome. So I checked all the other sentences. They look pretty good. Here's how you say the bus will come in a moment. 버스가 금방 올 거예요. 오다, to come. 올 거예요. Future tense, will come in a moment. The bus. 버스가 금방 올 거예요. The bus will come in a moment. That was too easy. All of you got that. There are only a couple typos, but everyone got the sentence, which is great. Okay, now let's start going on to some words that are a little bit less common, but still useful to know. The next word that we have is 당장. Now, 당장 means right now or right away. Now, you might be wondering, what's the difference between just saying 지금, which means right now, and 당장, which means right now? Well, using 당장 emphasizes that something is right now. It's emphatic. Instead of just saying something now, like right now, you're saying right now. So it's more emphasis on the now. And if you say 지금 당장, then it even further emphasizes that you're talking about right now, in this moment. That sort of meaning. Because this word has more emphasis than just saying 지금, because 당장 is more emphatic, this word is often used in commands. Do it now. Do it right now. So if you want to tell someone, you're not telling them just do it now. If you want to tell someone not just do that now, or now you should start, but you want to say right now with emphasis, use 당장. Okay, I'll keep this up for a second, and then there's another note I have to give about another word. Space. Everybody subscribe to Go Billy Korean. You'll learn lots and lots of Korean. Use 당장 with the Arnold Schwarzenegger accent. Yes. You can imagine that Arnold is screaming at you to get into the chopper whenever you use 당장. Right now. Let's see. Okay. So there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is with the word 바로. So we learned 바로 already. It means right away or immediately or at once. And you can also use 바로 when you're giving commands. So then what's the difference between 당장, which means right now or right away, and 바로, which also can mean right away? Well, the difference is that 바로, while it does mean right away, it's used for something that's happening in sequence, something that's happening immediately after something else. Like you do something and then 바로, right away you do this, or immediately you do this after something else. So think of 바로 as right after something else happens, and 당장 is more emphatic about just the current time, right now. So that's the difference. You can think about 당장 as kind of like put a point right where we are right now, and 바로 is like put a point right here as well, but a little bit after. I think I should do it the other way. I don't know how it's flipped for you. And maybe, yeah, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. We had Italian Billy, now we had German Billy. I guess, not really, I guess Austria, sure. And then Arnold's Austrian is like, I hear from people who are actually from that area, they say it sounds like really funny. Like it sounds like he grew up in a country area Like not the city, not the standard Austrian, but like a rustic Austrian accent. Like he has an accent even to Austrian people. What would Australian Arnold sound like? Put another shrimp on the barbie. Yeah. Good day, mate. Yeah. Can you imagine Arnold went to Australia? Okay. Just reading sentences real quick. Okay. So the sentence I want you to make is call right now. As in, call right now. Not call now, but call right now. Right now. Call. I'll give you a verb for that in case you don't know. You're going to use 전화, 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 however you want to say it. 전화, actually it gets pronounced as this unofficially, but that's how everyone says it. 전화 and 하다. 전화하다, to make a phone call, to call someone. 전화하다. There's a reason for that, but that's all you need to know. Yes. Aniki's sentence. Traga's sentence is so polite. 당장 전화해 주세요. Please call right now. Whereas Aniki is 지금 당장 전화해라. Call right now. It's like yelling at them, like, yeah, very casual. I like the sentence though, Aniki. It's perfect. I'm perfect. Paulina as well. Oh yeah, typo, but you fixed it. Perfect. Hopegate as well. 전화해라. It almost sounds like dialect because they use that sort of conjugated verb with la ending in 경상 dialect a lot. 전화해라. Like that. I used to hear Busan dialect all day. It was all I heard every day, but I can't speak it very much. 당장 하세요. Okay? So, 당장, I should note that it is an adverb, but it also just means right now. So you don't need to use it directly before a verb like other adverbs that are modifying the verb. This one isn't modifying the verb. This is a time word. It's kind of like saying 지금 or 오늘 or 어제 or something like that. You can also use it at the beginning of the word. Sorry, the beginning of a sentence. So like you can say 지금 and then blah, 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 like that. 당장, blah, 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 like that. Because it's talking about the time you do something, not necessarily how you do a verb. So yes, it works like an adverb, but it's a time adverb. Hopegate, it is not dialect. What I meant to say is, what I said, but what I meant was that it's used commonly in dialects as well. But it's not a dialect ending. It's a regular ending you'll hear in Seoul as well. Just that when you give it as a, like yelling at someone without any context, it feels like something that would have come from that dialect since they commonly yell. They commonly yell. They have harsher intonation and shorter sentences, and it just seems like something that would come out of that dialect area to me. 사투리까지 마스터하신 뷰리쌤. 에오스, welcome. Okay, let me give you an answer. 당장, right now. 전화하세요. 당장 전화하세요. So call right now. Now, call now. Call now. And we'll throw in this second jar of pickles absolutely free. Just pay shipping and handling. Billy Inc. is not responsible for decapitations, death, and other bodily harm that may come as a result of consumption of these pickles. Something like that. Okay. Next. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this one too. Next, we have two words, 가끔 or 가끔씩. Now, these both mean sometimes. So you could say 가끔 or 가끔씩. Adding 씩 simply adds more emphasis that it's only sometimes. So 가끔 is sometimes, 가끔씩 is sometimes. As in, sometimes, but not often. But sometimes. Both of these mean sometimes. I want you to make this sentence. I'm going to give you a word. You can either use 울다 or 눈물을 흘리다 to say to cry. This one literally means like to shed a tear, like a teardrop goes down. Either of these, they both mean to cry. So I want you to make the sentence, I sometimes cry. Okay. Paulina, that's way too fast. But yes, perfect. 가끔 울어요. Yep, perfect. Aniki, small typo with 식. It's a double 시옷. Yes, you fixed it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. Hope Gate, perfect. Everybody should try to be more like Hope. Lexica, perfect. Let's see the non-members real quick. Check your sentences. Nice, nice, nice. Trevon, it's not, you wouldn't use 눈물 울어요. You would pick either this expression or just the verb 울다. Either one is okay. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, as well as Brenda. So you would also pick one. You wouldn't mix them together. So you'd either say to cry with this or to cry with this. And Kobify, you could say 제가 or 저는, but not 저가. Olami as well. You don't want to mix them. You can use either or. If you've never seen this one before, though, I recommend just using 울다 to say to cry. This one's less common. It's more descriptive, like shed a tear, that sort of cry, whereas this is just cry. It has the same meaning, though. Okay, let me give you the answer. Okay, I'll use plain form. 나는 가끔 눈물을 흘린다. So I sometimes 가끔 눈물 흘리다, to cry. So I sometimes cry. 나는 가끔 눈물을 흘린다. I sometimes cry. I'll leave this up for a second. 울고 Lexica, small typo for 싶다 is the piup. So it's the strong letter P up there. Yes. Okay. Let's take a quick break. Stretch. Stand up. Okay, it's over. Next one we're going to do is 종종. 종종. 종종 also means sometimes, but it has a different nuance. This one is less frequent than saying sometimes. This one is every now and then. So not sometimes, but sometimes, once in a while, 종종. I want you to make this sentence. I think about it sometimes. Now, this is a little tricky because you have to know a high beginner or maybe intermediate level word to say think about it. But go ahead and give it a try. If you don't know how to say think about it sometimes, don't worry, I'll give you the answer. But anyone who wants to try, go ahead. I'll leave this up for a second and then I'll check your answers. I think I should be nice. I think I should tell you how to do it. Okay. When you're saying that you're thinking about something, not as you're actually thinking about it, but you just want to say, yeah, I sometimes think about that. You're not saying I'm considering it, right? You're not saying I'm sometimes thinking if I want to do that or not. I'm sometimes considering that. You're saying I sometimes have thoughts about it is what you mean. In English, we say think about to mean both. I'm having thoughts about something or I'm considering something, like I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure what to do, but it's different in Korean. If you want to say, I think something, this is my opinion, versus I have thoughts that come to my mind, I'm thinking about it. These are separate. So to say this one, you use this verb, 생각, literally thoughts, 나다, to occur, to come, to get. So I get thoughts, literally thoughts come out. Thoughts come out to me, thoughts occur, is what you say. 생각이 나다. And that's how you say to think about something. Not as in you're considering it. You're not thinking about doing it or not. You're not it's not your opinion, right? You get the thought. So I think about that. Yeah, I thought about it because the thought came to me, not that I was considering it. Versus, yeah, I thought about it and I decided not to. That's not this. That's 생각하다, to think about something, like my opinion. So if it has to do with your opinion, use 생각하다, to think. If it has to do with a thought you had, 생각이 나다. Hopefully that clears it up. This was really confusing to me as a beginner. Okay. Brenda was the first person to attempt it with this new verb, and you got it. Hope. Oh, and then so when you use 생각이 나다, you don't use an object marker because the verb is 나다, which is something comes out, something occurs, something happens. It's not an action verb doing something to something, so there cannot be an object. Even here, there's a subject marker. You don't say 생각을 나다. That wouldn't make sense since 나다 is the thought comes out. So you're not coming out the thought, but the thought itself is what's doing that. Okay. Nice. Yeah, a few people have already gotten the right answer. I'll just wait another second to see if anyone else wants to give it a try. Hopefully that clears it up. Let me know if you still don't get it. I can explain it again. The complete sentence is this. 종종. Every now and then. Or once in a while, 생각이 나요. I think about it. So 생각이 나다 is a thought comes to you. So you think about something. Not that you're thinking about doing something, you're considering something, and not you're thinking an opinion, but you're simply thinking because the thought came to you. Then you use 생각이 나다. 생각 나다. 종종 생각이 나요. 종종 생각이 나요. So every once in a while, the thought comes to me. Every once in a while, I think about it. Not every once in a while, I consider if I should do that. Or every once in a while, I think my opinion. You're saying, I think it because the thought comes to me. Okay. actually. Let's write it. Let's write it down here. The next one we have is 때때로. I put this in parentheses though because you can say 때로 and it has the same meaning. 때때로 is just a little bit more emphatic. And 때 literally means time. Like when you say 할 때, 했을 때, 갔을 때. Anything like that. It's the same 때. So literally 때때로. By time. By time. So this is how you say sometimes, as in from time to time. And how is this different from just saying 가끔 or even 종종? Well, this one means sometimes, but depending on the time. As in, depending on the situation. So, depending on the situation, sometimes I like that. Okay, I'll leave this up for a second. Hope gate. 생각나 is kind of verb that I know, but I always forget to use. Yeah, I think... Oh, and you can also use it in the negative sense. Like if someone says, what did you say yesterday? And you say, oh, I can't think about it. You're not going to say, I cannot consider that. I cannot express my opinion on that, right? You wouldn't say, 생각할 수 없어요. That doesn't make sense. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. 생각이 안 나요. Because the thought doesn't come to you. It's not coming to me. I can't think about it. I can't think about what that was. I'm trying to think about what that was, but I can't. Like that. 생각나다, 생각이 안 나다. That's what you want. Okay. So I want you to make this sentence. Again, sometimes, but depending on the situation. So make this sentence. Sometimes, even candy can be medicine. This is a difficult sentence. This is an intermediate level sentence. Depending on the situation, right? Because 때때로 doesn't just mean sometimes, but it's like depending on the situation. So it would be true to say sometimes even candy is medicine. And it's true. Like if anyone's had Ricola, Ricola is like candy, but if you're sick and you have a sore throat, it's medicine. And it depends on the situation, right? Not just any candy. I mean, Starburst is never going to be medicine unless... No, actually, that's not true. What if you're diabetic? Then Starburst could be medicine, depending on the situation. Sometimes Starburst could be medicine. But never... Oh, wait, what's that thing? What is everyone's favorite candy? I want to know, what is everyone's favorite candy? I have a favorite candy. I don't know if anyone can guess it. You can try to guess it if you want, but I clearly have a favorite candy. I'm wondering what everyone's favorite candy is. And while you're thinking about that, I'm going to write the sentence on the board. No one's gotten it right. I will give you a hint. You're going to use the verb 되다. Hopefully that's a hint. Sometimes even candy can be medicine. You're going to use 되다. Tragus says gum. Gum, yeah. Let's see. Gummies. Oh, gummies are so good. So in Korean, you should know this. It's confusing to learners, but they call gummies jelly. They call them jelly. And jelly they call gem. It's messed up. But yeah, if you want gummies, those are called jelly. I love gummies too. Gummy candy's great. Mike and Ike. Wow, Shelly, can I ask your age? I mean no offense, but I know nobody my age who likes Mike and Ike's that much to say it's their favorite candy. Like if I accidentally find Mike and Ike in my pocket, like someone gives me one or something, I'll eat it if I don't have anything to eat, but I've never bought them. They're not bad. I'm not dissing them. Just 39. You have old grandmother or old grandfather taste. Next thing you're going to tell me your favorite candy is like Nilla wafers or something like that. Sour gummies. Yeah, oh, sour gummies. So good. I like, not my favorite, but I also really like Sour Patch Kids. They're like sandpaper for your tongue. So by the time you finish them, they've scraped all of the taste buds off of your tongue. So you get a clean palate. Isn't that nice? And your mouth will be like sore for a couple days after you eat Sour Patch Kids. But they're good. No regrets. Lexica says those Korean plum flavored hard candies. You'll have to tell me on Discord what those are. I'm not sure which candies are. That sounds really good. Stella's mom says junior mints. Like a mint. They're junior. I like junior mints too. Junior mints are my favorite snack to have at the movie theater because you can eat them without making too much noise. Like, I don't like snacks that you chew when you're in the movie theater, right? And you can keep eating them. So it's not like, it doesn't just run out really quick. Like Sour Patch Kids don't last that long. They don't make it through the trailers. But junior mints, usually I can make it like for an hour or so. Stock. Mooninji likes stock. Okay. Were there Pierre B? Are you joking? You're just commenting when I said they like old man or old woman candies. So Werther's Original would be another one of those snacks that I think typically older people, no offense, but older people would like. Werther's Original. They taste good though. Like, I'm not dissing any of these snacks. Werther's Originals are like, people don't eat them that much, but if you try them, they're really good. They're just hard candy that's just a high quality, I think it's like kind of like a butterscotch flavor. Swedish Fish. Yeah, Swedish Fish are pretty good too. Toxic Waste. Yeah, I never had that as a kid. They have Toxic Waste candy. I've seen it a lot, but I never had it once, so I don't know what that tastes like. Neko. Neko, did I say Neko? I don't know if I said it wrong. That's what I was thinking of. Did I say Nilla? Nilla wafers are also, the Nilla cookies, that's what I was thinking about. Nilla cookies are also kind of one of those things that younger people don't have that much. Neko wafers, yeah, those are like Tums. You're right. They're like Tums minus making your stomach feel better. Pez, Pixie Sticks, those are pretty good. Pepero's pretty good, yeah. Abba Zaba? Oh, Abba Zaba, I've never had those before. Love Hearts? Love Hearts are good when you get them from someone on Valentine's Day. I've never bought them. They taste gross. But if someone gives them to you, they taste so good. Like, you'll appreciate them, I guess, when you have a small box. Raisinets, those are okay. Snickers, classic. Korean sour grape candies. You have to send me information about that. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Sour grape candies? Are they like jelly? I mean, gummy? Payday? Payday's good. Pillow mints, yeah. I like the York peppermint patties. Those are pretty good too. Kendra says Chupa Chup lollies. So if you're going to Korea, get Chupa Chups because those are like classic in Korea. They see those as like classic American lollipops. Like if they think lollipop, they'll think Chupa Chups. So I would get those sometimes for gifts for friends. Just make sure you get like nice flavors, not the general assorted bag. They can get those in Korea, but get like some cool flavors. I think they'll like them. It's a very American thing. Sekom Darkom. Oh, those are good. That's, if you don't know, that's basically Starburst in Korea is Sekom Darkom. But they're a little bit more, they're like sour Starburst, I guess. They're pretty good. Ferrero Rocher. Yeah, Ferrero Rocher is really good. Easy way to put on a few pounds is Ferrero Rocher because they sell them in these like giant boxes that have like 144. You get like a gross of Ferrero Rocher stacked up into like the pyramid of, you know, an Egyptian pyramid or something. And you eat the whole thing. Those are good. Hershey's, I'm sorry. If you're in Europe, yeah, sure. But Hershey's in the US, I think there's only one use for Hershey's in the US, and that is to make s'mores. But I would not eat the chocolate otherwise if it's not melted. If it's melted, though, it's good. But unmelted, it's like waxy. I don't know. Some people like it, I guess. Maybe they grew up. I don't know. Raisinets, goobers. Goobers are good. Zots. I never had zots. Homemade strudel. That sounds good. Okay, Deidre. Okay, Deidre gave a donation. I think Deidre's saying, hey, get back to the lesson. All right, I'll do that. Thank you so much, Deidre. I'm going to give you 10 dabs and we're going to get back to the lesson. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, sorry for that. But, oh, whatchamacallit? Yeah, they used to have commercials on when I was a kid. Whatchamacallit? Those were good. I had them like a couple times. They're really good, actually. It's just hard to find them. Okay, so my favorite snack, I didn't tell you, is Almond Joy. I have a lot of snacks I really like, but if I keep going back to one, and that's Almond Joy. And it actually is because my mom, her favorite snack is also Almond Joy, and I learned to appreciate it because she liked it so much. But then I realized, no, I actually really like this too. Mounds are okay too. She likes Mounds as her second. For me, Mounds are not my second, but they're okay. I think it's the milk chocolate plus the almond that makes it. That's what makes it. So if you don't like almonds, you don't like coconut, you're not gonna like it. But if you like those two, perfect. And you got to get the Almond Joys that are the full size if you can. They're really rare. They always sell them in bite size that are just stuck together into a full size. If you can find the full size, they taste different. I swear they taste different because the chocolate, the amount of chocolate is different when it's on a longer piece versus the smaller piece. And the smaller piece is a little bit too sweet. The longer piece is just right because it has less chocolate. But anyway, okay. Our last word is 즉시. Which means promptly or instantly or at once. This literally means 즉시. From hanta, it means right at the time when. 즉, right at the 시, time. Right at the time when. So promptly, right away, at once, instantly. As you might guess from the English definitions, this word is only used in more formal situations. So where will you see it? News articles and advertising are really the only places you're going to see this used. It's a formal sounding word. It's not going to be used colloquially. It's not going to be used with your friends. You're not going to say, I promptly bought a Zagnut. It doesn't sound right. It sounds really awkward to use it. Also, there's another word you may have seen. You probably have never seen this, but there's another one with the same meaning. 즉각, 즉각. 즉각 has the same meaning as 즉시. However, 즉각 is even less common and even more formal sounding. You're not going to need either of these, but at least 즉시, I think you should be aware of it. You might see 즉시. You probably won't see 즉각. But I'm including this because a member asked. Okay. I have... Hold on. One sec. Stream worksheets. Did I put this word in here? I have two sentences. I guess I forgot to put one of them in the worksheet. I'll put one in the worksheet later. I'm just going to share this sentence with you because it is too difficult to ask you to make. I don't think there'd be anyone here who could make. Maybe. Okay. Let's just do this sentence. You have to go to the hospital promptly. You have to go to the hospital promptly. Normally the sentence is longer, but I'm shortening it because I think it would be too hard to have someone translate from English unless I give you all the words to use. Let's do that. You have to go to the hospital promptly. Now again, this is not a sentence you would say. This is a sentence you might read in the news or something like that, or see on TV. Like in the news, yeah, pretty much in the news. Yeah, I wrote it up here, but don't look if you're still writing your sentences. I'm going to check. So, 즉시 again means right at that time. Right at the time when something happens. So, you're not going to use it right before a verb like a regular adverb because this one is right at literally right at the time when. So, you could use it at the beginning of your sentence or in the middle of your sentence or whatever it is that you're talking about. Right at the time when what? 즉시. Then you do whatever. So you would say 즉시 and then 병원에 가야. Oh yeah, Paulina, you got it. Yeah. Oh, I didn't give the example for 때때로. Oh, sorry. I'll go back and do that right after this. Thank you. Hey, I didn't notice that. Hopegate. Okay. 피가 멈추지 않으면, so if the blood doesn't stop, if you keep bleeding, 병원에 가야 돼요. 즉시 병원에 가야 돼요. So you have to go to the hospital 즉시, right at the moment, immediately, at once, instantly, promptly. So if it doesn't stop bleeding, go to the hospital promptly. One more sentence. Now, I know this is a beginner lesson, but this is an advanced word. 즉시 is advanced. I should have said that. So you do not need to use this word if you are not an advanced learner, but you can at least write it down for notes for later. 화재를 발견하면, 화재 means a fire. Not as in the fire that you make to make s'mores, but as in a accident. The problem, a fire. 발견하다, to discover. If you discover a fire, so if you find a fire, 즉시, immediately, at once, promptly. 119로, so 119, that's Korea's 911. 신고하다, to report. So report it to 911 promptly, right away, at once. So if you find a fire, report it through 119 at once. 화재를 발견하면 즉시 119로 신고하세요. Okay, I forgot to give you the sentence for 때때로, so let me give you that as well. Okay, this is also an intermediate level sentence, so don't worry if you can't get this as a beginner. 사탕도, so 사탕 would just be like candy, as in like sugar candy. 때때로, sometimes, depending on the situation. 약, medicine. 이 되다, to become, to be. So sometimes, depending on the situation, even candy can be medicine. 사탕도 때때로 약이 됩니다. Okay. That is all of our sentences today. Really quick announcements. Oh, wait, I got to take a thumbnail image. There we go. I'll use that for the thumbnail. Next live stream will be Sunday, and then we will not have live streams through the entire month of November because I'll be in Korea. Well, we won't have live stream classes. If I have a free day, I'll do a live stream, but I won't be able to do a class like this because I'll be in Korea. And then we'll resume live streams again in December from the beginning of the month. So I'll go right back as soon as I come back from Korea, I'll continue the live streams again. Okay. let's take some questions. Yeah, we got distracted by candies. I mean, who doesn't like candy? I guess people who don't like candy don't like candy. Candy's pretty good. I try not to have too much candy, but I mean, that doesn't mean I eat like healthy food every day, but I try not to have too much candy. Let's see. I think the most common food with sugar that I have is going to be gum, just because I'll chew gum while I'm working. Just after I eat, I'll have gum. It's pretty common. I'll have gum, and I eat Korean gum because it's good. I like the unique flavor of Korean gum. The US gum is pretty good, but American gum is typically, you have two options in America. It's either really sugary sweet for bubble gum, like bubblegum flavored bubblegum, which is good. Or it's like super minty that it freezes your mouth and you can't drink water for like hours without freezing your mouth, right? Korea, you get a little bit more variety. It's, you know, it's more common to see like flavored gums, or xylitol gum is another really common type of gum. It makes your mouth a little cold, but not as freezing as the American gums, like their winter mint, cool mint. They all freeze your mouth. Heidi asks, is Halloween a thing in Korea? So if you had asked me this question 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, I would say no. In Korea, Halloween is only something that they do in elementary school for kids in Korea. So kids in elementary school might wear costumes. They'll learn about Halloween in the US, right? They might do trick-or-treating inside the class. They don't go to doors. Trick-or-treating is not a thing in Korea. Wearing costumes and hanging around as kids, wearing costumes and going around is not a thing in Korea. Except recently it kind of became a thing. So kids in elementary school will still wear Halloween costumes. That's still a thing, but they do it at their schools. So they're not going to be walking around their neighborhoods. There's no trick-or-treating, but adults in Korea do wear costumes on Halloween, specifically for Halloween parties. So that's a thing in Korea as of a few years ago. It's gotten more popular. So people just dress up. You'll go to like clubs or bars or parties or whatever like that, wearing Halloween costumes and dancing, whatever. I've never been to any of those before, but it's a recent thing. So yes, if you go to Korea during Halloween, you can find events that will be dress up events like Halloween, but they're not going to be like we do in the US. You're not going to find bobbing for apples. You're not going to find trick-or-treating. You're not going to find people jumping out and trying to scare you. It's more of just like let's dress up as scary versions of characters, or let's dress up as popular characters sort of thing. It's more like a cosplay event than it is like a Halloween event. I'll say that. Paulina, yeah, no, I'm not sure. Sierra says bubble mint gum is where it's at. Bubble mint. I haven't heard about that. I don't know what bubble mint is. You know what I really liked was when I was a kid, they had the powdered gum. I think it was called Bubba Jug or something like that. It was like in a little, like a milk jug, and you screw off the cap and it was powder, and then you chew it and it becomes gum in your mouth when it gets wet. That was really good. They stopped selling it for the most part. I think there's still a company that makes it, like kind of like it, but it's not the same thing. And then I also like bubble tape. It's 6 feet of bubble gum for you, not them. I had bubble tape as a kid. I remember that commercial. Yeah. And then I had a lot of other candy, like I don't have any nostalgia for, like nickel nips. If anyone knows what those are, they're like the little wax soda bottles that have like half a drop of like juice, like over sweetened juice inside of them. You're supposed to like bite off the top and then you suck out the juice and then you throw out the rest of the bottle. Or you can like chew on the wax, but you spit it out. And people didn't know what you're supposed to do. They would just chew on the wax bottle and just swallow it and be like, oh, this is gross. So that was kind of funny. Martina says, Willy Wonka, type of wonder as a kid. Yes. I always chewed on the wax, says Martina. Yeah, I always chewed on the wax too, but then I would spit it out. Yeah. Let's see. You buy xylitol gum at Sprouts. Oh, I didn't know Sprouts has that. Yeah, I like this. You can find this in Korea. Again, not a sponsor, but it's just Lotte. Lotte brand has xylitol. I like their brand. It's pretty good. It's way expensive for what it is. It's like $3 or something for this little thing, and it lasts like a couple days because I chew a lot of gum. And then I'll just buy refill bags and you can fill it up a few times. So yeah, I like that gum, but it's not cheap. Traga asks a good question. 사탕을 자주 먹어요? 아, 자주는 안 먹어요. So I don't eat it often, but I do a little bit. Martina, oh, Martina, you said, you're the girl who bought the workbook without the textbook and tried to make it work. You're not the only person. I've heard other people, some people will message me like, hey, Billy, I'm on the workbook. I'm in chapter 3. This is great, but do you have any, but I'm stuck on this grammar point. How can I use it? And I'm like, the workbook? You mean the textbook? Like, oh no, I got the workbook. It's like, how did you get to chapter 3? In a workbook? There's no explanations in the workbook. It's just like practice problems. So yeah, you're not alone. I mean, it happens. I tried to make it as clear as I could in the description page when you buy it, as well as in the book, in the back of the book, everywhere to make it clear that this is used together with the textbook. But I'm sorry, I didn't make it clear enough, I guess. There are still some people who bought it anyway thinking that's all that they needed, when actually it's the other way around. You can get just the textbook. You don't need the workbook because you can get practice just by using it. But anyway. Okay, now we've done, so I'll finish the stream soon. I did have one more question, since for those of you who are sticking around. What is your least favorite candy? If you're here for learning Korean, you can go now. Sorry. We're talking about candy. I want to know, what's the worst candy that you've ever had? What's the worst candy in the world? Then I'm going to start editing this live stream. If you're a member, you'll get to watch the live stream as it's edited tonight in a few hours. But I want to know, what's the worst candy? Don't say Almond Joy. Come on. Licorice. Okay. Red licorice. No, I like red licorice, especially if it's red vines. Twizzlers. That can go in the trash. Anytime I get Twizzlers, it's like, oh, Twizzlers. It's right in the trash can behind me. Red vines, though, are pretty good. Twizzlers is like actually trying to swallow the wax from those nickel nips candy for me. And then black licorice. Yeah, a few of you said black licorice. Black licorice, I just can't get into it. My grandmother loves it. But to me, it just tastes like medicine. Like, it tastes like I should not be eating it. Like, it's going to numb my mouth, sort of thing. Like I should have it before surgery. I don't know. Aaron O'Neill, candy corn. That's my mom. My mom loves candy corn. Let's see. Mounds. I like Mounds, and they're not as good as Almond Joys though for me, because I prefer the milk chocolate. I like dark chocolate if it's just chocolate. Like if I'm just buying a chocolate bar, always dark chocolate. It has so much more flavor. But for Mounds, for some reason I want it lighter. I like the milk chocolate. Emma, you don't like Milk Duds? That's true, they're not that great. I like Whoppers though. I know they're not Milk Duds, but they're always right next to there. Whoppers are pretty good. That crunchy malt flavor. Emma says salt licorice. I've never had that. That doesn't sound very good. Someone says black salted licorice. Okay. I just don't like the black licorice flavor, because it's from that, it's like sarsaparilla or whatever it is that plant. It just doesn't taste good for me. Insam candy. Yeah. There is ginger candy. I like ginger candy, but I can see how people wouldn't like it. It's really strong, and it also tastes like you're taking medicine. Ginger or ginseng candy. Ginseng though, yeah, that's not very good. That definitely feels like you were prescribed it. It's not enjoyable. Milk duds if you add a tub of popcorn at the movie. Yeah. Zandria says, I wonder if I should subscribe to a Korean loot box to acclimate my palate to their snacks. I can't recommend a specific company because there are so many. But if you find one that you like, tell them to contact me and maybe they can send me one and I can do a sponsored video for them. I don't know. I don't know any brand. I've gotten contacted by some random brands, but I never know who to reply to because I don't know what's good and I don't want to recommend like one of those snack crates or loot boxes or anything like that. I don't want to recommend one that I actually don't personally like and that I don't think is a decent deal. The problem with a lot of them is they're way expensive. Like the snacks will be valued at like $5, but you pay $40 plus shipping. Like I can't recommend that. Or they give you the same snacks every single time. Like it'll only be a few snacks over and over again. So if someone finds a good one, let me know. I can contact them and they can contact me and we can do a sponsored video. But yeah, I can't recommend anything specific. But I know you could go to a regular Korean market and just ask, hey, what are some popular Korean snacks? They'd probably love to tell you. Koreans are really proud of their snacks. Lexica says licorice actually comes from the licorice plant. Interesting. Okay, well that would make sense. I thought it was like sarsaparilla or something, but I guess not. It's gross. Cinnamon? You don't like cinnamon? You know what I don't like is the kind of cinnamon is those Red Hots. Like that kind of candy with this really spicy cinnamon in it. I can eat them though, but I'm not a fan. You could do a live stream opening and tasting the snacks. Yeah, I could do that. Like I said, I didn't know which one to get, so I haven't tried any. But if you find one, let me know. Another person says candy corn. I like candy corn, though my mom is like crazy about it. She loves it. Also those circus peanuts. She also really likes circus peanuts. If anyone knows what those are. It's a candy. It's not really a peanut. It's like a it's kind of like a marshmallow, like a slightly chewy marshmallow shaped like a peanut. Sarsaparilla is similar. Yeah. Well, sarsaparilla was, I think, the original soda, like the very first soda that was sold, but it wasn't popular. It was like a prescription was sarsaparilla, so I don't think it counts. I know the first actual marketed, like sold in stores carbonated drink ever was root beer. But I know sarsaparilla was before that, and it was like some like prescription or something like that, if I remember. You like hot tamales? Hot tamales, they're kind of like gummy versions of that. Yeah, they're a little bit chewy. I don't know. Sometimes like there are like so many snacks. If you do trick-or-treating or you have a kid and they share some of their candy with you, like so many snacks, like you don't really think you like it, but then when you have one piece after you haven't had it for like 10 years, it tastes like really good. I'm not a fan of like Skittles, for example, but like if you have like a couple Skittles, pretty good. Yeah. I wouldn't want to have them all the time, but like, yeah, just a couple Skittles. Yeah, tastes really good. You know, a couple M&Ms, peanut M&Ms are really good. Okay. Sorry. I know we're talking about Korean. Any other questions related to the lesson or related to Korea or Korean? I'll stick around just a few more minutes, just 3 more minutes, 3 minutes, and then I'm going to go. I promise. It's 3:22. At 3:25, I'm leaving. Any last questions? Xandria says, Oktoberfest candy? That's a thing? Heidi asks, favorite Korean candy? Oh, okay. That is probably... Maybe I have to say wangkumturi. It's basically gummy worms in Korea, but they're different. The worms themselves are smaller than our gummy worms, but it's called wangkumturi because inside the bag is one king gummy worm. that's like this long and it has like a big head and it's really like really skinny body. So you get the bag and you're like pulling them out and they're, small worms, but then you grab one and it's like really long and that's the king. So I like that snack. They have sour versions and regular versions. They're both great. The sour, although I think the sour one doesn't have the king in it. Yeah, the sour one are just small. But anyway, I like gummy worms. I don't know if they're my favorite, but that's what comes to mind first. And then, let's see, what else do I like? Yeah, I like gummy candies also. I think that's probably what I'll say. Do you like sundae? Yes, I love sundae. That's my #1 favorite Korean food is sundae, believe it or not. Because I just love that flavor. And the food right now that I miss the most in Korea that I'll probably get as soon as I can when I get to the country is going to be sundae국. So sundae plus sundae soup, basically. And it's just like a hot broth soup with like, green onions and stuff in it. But then it has sundae in it as well. And you eat that with rice. Oh, it's so good. And have that with a side of sundae. And you put, you can put some brined shrimp on top of the sundae, or you can put samjang, like the, on top of it, or you can dip it in salt. So good. Okay, Sierra asks a question. I'll answer this and then I'll take off for today. What pace would you recommend learning Korean? I'm a beginner and thinking about learning 10 new words a day and learning 1 short grammar lesson per day. That sounds like a decent plan. As a beginner, I would go up to like 15 words a day, but you don't have to always push that to 15 because the important thing is not that you know tons of words in the beginning because you can't use those words. That's the problem. Until you get to like a high beginner level, you won't even be able to use that many words. You'll be limited to a few hundred words anyway. So don't rush learning vocabulary in the beginning. 5 to 15, I think is good. Minimum 5, you want at least 5, but I wouldn't go over 15. So 10 sounds great. And 1 lesson, if you're doing lessons in order, so it's a curriculum of any sort of curriculum, any textbook, video series, anything that's in order, yeah, that sounds fine. But if it's 1 random lesson a day, it won't get you anywhere. So just make sure whatever you're using is you're following a guide for which lessons to learn. That way you're not going to be repeating stuff and relearning words. Yeah, that sounds really good though. Why do Koreans eat pajeon when it rains? Because it's one of the rainy foods that they think about. It's like ramen or pajeon when it rains. When it rains in the US, what do we eat? I think we don't really have any one unified food that everyone thinks about. In Korean, though, it's actually not pajeon. You're thinking about 빈대떡. Although 빈대떡 looks like pajeon, but it's really, really thick. They're like thick and they have less flavor than pajeon. And you dip them in like soy sauce. It tastes okay. I'm not a huge fan of 빈대떡. I think pajeon tastes better. But yeah, they eat 빈대떡 when it rains. So like, if Koreans think of rain, they think of 빈대떡. And it's just because it's associated with it. I don't know where it got the initial association. I was trying to think in America, what would we do? I think pizza might be a common food that we have when it rains, but it's not like a universal thing. Maybe soup? Yeah, you could be right. Maybe like soup or something. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming, and I will see you again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.